We'll just start it now.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So we're live.
We are live.
I was totally ready.
All right. So if you guys are watching the replay of this right now, the call doesn't actually start for a few more minutes. So you may want to fast forward a few minutes. All right. So if you guys are watching the replay of this right now, the call doesn't actually start for a few more minutes. So you may want to fast forward a few minutes.
Quite a feedback loop.
All right. So, and why is my thing all blurry?
I don't know.
Sometimes that fixes it if I just get my face close.
Yeah. Maybe it's trying to trick you into leaning in.
I like that. All right, Aaron should be joining shortly, and we've got a few more churches that should be jumping on. I'm going to send one more email out to everyone in the program and let them know we're live.
I will help you make Aaron a host, and I'll jump off and head your way.
Okay, sounds good.
Memorial Day weekend probably is affecting attendance. Just it's like
That could be it.
It really makes sense. You don't think about it too much.
If you don't think about it, yeah.
Yeah. I have not had a haircut in 3 months. It has been all hat all the time. Gotten used to it. I take my hat off and I'm like, I have not had hair this long since high school.
That's awesome, bro.
Since ORU, probably since you looked at it and you're like, we're gonna have to fix this, Caleb. Oh. I will help admit as soon as you give me the all clear.
All right. Almost ready. Okay. Good to go.
All right.
Let's do it. All right, what's going on, y'all? Good to see everybody here. All right, Caleb is admitting everyone here. Make sure we get all of the pastors in here, and everybody is getting ready to go. So today, you guys probably saw the email, but we have Coach Aaron Butler is going to be on here, pastor of Radius Church in California, and he's going to be sharing quite a bit that I'm pretty pumped about here. So he's going to be talking about how to get the most out of your Facebook ministry ads, how to accelerate your results. And then some of the stuff that I'm super pumped about, because he and I had a long conversation about this on the phone earlier this week, is kind of talking about how to get people, right, how to do digital discipleship, but then how to get people to take the next step. So one of the things that he is absolutely brilliant at is understanding how to get people from from your Facebook ministry ads, from the prayer ads into the church, and actually get them plugged in and volunteering and getting everybody to take the next step. So he's got a phenomenal philosophy on this, something I'm pumped about. I think we can all learn quite a bit about, because he was blowing my mind with some of the things that he's been talking about, with some of the results that he's seen at his church, and then kind of some of the things that he's been doing. So he'll be on here in just a couple of minutes. Here's what I'd like to do is, anyone that has any questions, let's open it up to a little bit of Q&A at the beginning, and then Aaron will be on here in a couple of minutes, and he can share and then probably answer any questions. So I'm sure you guys are going to have a couple about the way he's doing things, because it's pretty phenomenal. So as always, if you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can put it in the chat if you're shy. So man, let's do it. Let's open up. Let's take a couple of questions, and then we'll turn it over to Aaron here. Boom. Anybody at all? If not, we can go straight to Aaron. I just want to make sure. Always want to make sure we answer questions up front, so we can help people out. Going once, going twice. Boom. Okay. Looks like we got a ton of great people on here. Good to see you guys. Dean, John, Brittany, Josh, Zell, Caleb, my man, Robert Walker. All right. Pumped to have you guys on here. All right. So Aaron, let's turn it over to you. Man, I know we've been we've been sharing quite a bit and talked earlier this week. So, man, whatever you want to share, I want to do it. But maybe just start with kind of who you are, how long you've been running the prayer ads, some of the results that you guys have seen so far, and then, man, just take it from there and talk about anything you want to, because, man, everything that you've been doing is fire, bro. So it's up to you, man. Go for
it. Oh, what's up? Yeah, so here's Matt. Super excited to be part of this team, and just want to tell you guys that what you're doing is massively important, and to keep kind of trucking and to keep moving forward and reaching people for the kingdom of God. So that's first and foremost. I think the scripture says, don't get tired of doing what is good, for at just the right time you're going to receive a harvest of blessing if you don't give up, right? So I think that's one of the keys right now, is that we don't give up. And so it's easy to grow weary. It's easy to grow weary in well doing. And, because I'm actually in my car right now. So give me 1 second. I go get out of the sun. And I just want to encourage you guys to kind of just keep trucking, keep moving forward, keep doing what. And from the ad perspective, we got to start. I think one of the things, strategy, and just really with the ministry strategy, you got to start with the end in mind. So what does that look like to start with the end in mind? For us, it's trying to have a leader on our team. So that's what it looks like for us, a ministry leader on our team. And then we work our way backwards all the way going back to the prayer ads, to our first initial engagement. Because I think that your initial engagement says a lot about you as a church, says a lot about you as a pastor, that you're willing to go the extra mile to go to people. And so in essence, that's automatically what's going to be reproduced in anybody that comes to your church, that becomes part of your church. So you're already creating that culture from the get-go, saying, hey, listen, we're a culture that reaches out, that loves our community, that washes the feet of the city. We want to bring hope and healing to people. So automatically you're setting the precedent for what you're trying to move vision inside of somebody's heart. And so we got to look at it that way. Another thing really is starting with that end in mind, is really a culture thing, and how you're really trying to set the precedent as a pastor. I think it's super important for us to really start doing the prayer ads ourselves. I'm all for a team. I'm all for having a team, but let me just tell you, there's some things that it's very difficult to delegate. And one of those things is personal prayer. Now, if you got hundreds of prayers and all that type of stuff, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying don't use a team. I'm just saying it's important for us to be personally vested in this, Because if we're not personally vested, what happens is we only look at this as a results based. And therefore, I'm only looking to get people on Sunday. I'm only looking to get people online. And I'm not looking from an aspect of ministry. So we've got to think ministry first, right? It can't be about numbers. Now, and I understand about, the number that matters is people coming to Christ. That's the most, because, people is the currency of heaven. Okay. But, every number is a name and every name has a story. Right. So we gotta look through the lens and of doing ministry and saying, hey, you know what? These are people. And if we're personally vested in that, then we'll see it for what it really is. Some of the stories that we've had, I have a small group leader who runs our senior small group who we reach through the prayer ads. My communications director now, that we just appointed her this last week, and she's helping us. And I don't know about you guys, but right now during this quarantine season and all that stuff, communication is like right at the top. Like it used to be not a lesser role, but a role that we mostly did. Now it's huge for us, and that's kind of like a big deal. But anyway, she's stepping into that. She's from the prayer app. And so if you start with the end in mind, and it's not just about butts and seats, and you start thinking through this strategy, because our calling is to make disciples. Our calling isn't to get.
So Aaron, hold on. I think you're cutting out for a second, but let me clarify to make sure. Let me clarify to make sure I heard that right. Sorry, I think. All right, there we go. If you can hear me, did you say that you have a senior small group leader that came from the prayer ads, and your communications director came from the prayer ads?
Correct. All in the last 6 months.
Bro, so those are people that didn't know you, had no relationship with, didn't go to your church.
Yes.
They got involved through the prayer ads, sent a prayer request, and then joined your church. And now one of them is a senior small group leader. The other one's your communication director.
Correct.
Bro.
And one of our main photographers now who just started doing production with us, she came from the prayer ad. In fact, she got prayed for when we first started the prayer ads, and nothing happened with her for 4 months. She didn't answer a broadcast. She didn't answer any text, nothing. We just did an audio prayer, never heard from her again, no biggie. She comes with her family in January. She gives her life to Christ. Her family gives her life to Christ. She starts bringing friends back. She jumps into our membership process, jumps on the dream team. And now she served with us at the emergency food bank this last weekend. One of our just been like, I'm all in. She's all in. And she didn't even talk to us for 4 months. So the thing is that she's seed that's planted, even if we haven't even necessarily see it. So we felt when you pray for them, and whenever they're ready to seek, and when they go to God when they desperate or marriage problems or relational issues, whatever it is, they'll come. You know what they're going to come to? They're going to come to the people that hey, this church, they prayed for me. They did this for me when I needed it. I'm going to go check them. I guess if you look at it, and the fact that God is always faithful to perform if you're willing to do His work, so don't sleep through that harvest season, and continue to do what you need to do. Refresh others, will themselves be refreshed. In other words, God said, if you refresh somebody else, I will guarantee your personal refreshment. So continue to look at these Facebook ministry ads as ministry. Be personally vested in it, and therefore, I think what it does on the inside of you and your heart, it stops being from something that we just, a numbers game that we're endeavoring to see, and it actually comes to, heart ministry. So hope that helps out.
Man, I love it, bro. Okay, so talk a little bit about digital discipleship and kind of what your funnel looks like from the time someone submits a prayer request to the time, like kind of you talk a lot about like your next steps and stuff.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what that funnel looks like when someone submits a prayer request and then how you get them to kind of take the next step.
Okay, so when they submit a prayer request, immediately we're looking to engage. So it's personal engagement. Some people, go through the whole process, and it just depends, whether or not what time of the day it is, middle of the night, they get the automated message. But you want to get to them almost as fast as you possibly can, because whenever people are submitting a prayer request, they're close to the need, and it's kind of like feelings are fleeting, meaning that there's only a window, and it's a kind of a feelings window, and you really need to. The reason why you need to attend to it as kind of, I would say, as quick as you can, as much as you can, is because feelings come and go. So I think that we start with, I have a team that helps me facilitate those conversations if I can't absolutely do it, but I always am the one that does the prayer request at the end of the day. So we start with that, and then our whole goal is to get them to an online service. Like, that's what the prayer ads is all about. So we try to get them to an online service. We try to facilitate conversation if we can. So if they text back, we try to facilitate that. We have people to do that. Now on Sunday, I don't know about you guys, but we have a lot of silent watchers, people that say they subscribe to the Sunday service, and we hope they watch. We don't know if they watch, but here's the deal. I assume that they watch. So my assumption is that they watched this. So I automatically send every single person that subscribed to Sunday, I send them a message that says, hey, thanks so much for being on today. How did you enjoy the service? How did you like it? And you always end with a question, or hey, would you like it? You have to come back next week. Do you have any more questions? And then from there, you want to elicit a response. So sometimes they're honest with you, and they're like, oh man, I didn't catch it. Oh man, that's okay. Hey, how do you, and then you engage the conversation even further, because sometimes we've actually had people that didn't watch the service, but we got them in our Facebook group as a church. So engagement still happened, even though they didn't catch a Sunday. And in fact, they caught it the following week. You see what I'm saying? So we can't just like, oh, well, they didn't watch it, so I give up or whatever. It's like, no, we can't give up on people. We got to think, you got to think in steps and think engagement. So those are just some minor tweaks and some things that we've done. We try to move people right now to either the Facebook group or online digital Zoom small groups. And we're actually getting ready to experiment with the new messenger rooms, because I think it might be easier to get people in messenger room small groups than Zoom. So we're looking at probably transferring all of our Zoom small groups, if we can, to Zoom, to Facebook Messenger. So that way it's that process right now, just to kind of connectivity. So those are some things from our digital standpoint. We have a digital membership class. So it's basically the same thing that we do live, but it's digital membership. I want people to feel a part of the church, right? Like, you don't have to wait till we actually come and gather, belong. No, you belong right now. So why not just, be part of the family? We got people part of the family, people coming to our teenage, putting their kids in right now in our teenage Zoom small groups and stuff like that. And that's growing. And because it's just all about engagement, and never come to a physical location at all. So we're not treating online church as this is a strategy until we can come back together. No, this is a strategy. Like, this online church is here, and it's here to stay, and it's part of our permanent culture. And so whenever we do open up here on the West Coast fully, we'll start to navigate kind of what that looks like, and moving people into further discipleship.
So I know you talked about this. I know you talked about this previously, Aaron, but talk a little bit about what your your digital discipleship looks like.
Pretty much it.
So talk a little bit about what your online membership class looks like, because I know you shared that a couple of weeks ago, but for some of the pastors that weren't on there, what does that look like when you're doing like an online membership right now, and then kind of leading some of that digital discipleship in small groups and stuff?
Okay, so the membership process is it's just basically a 45-minute Zoom call. And I just go over, here's the vision of the church. Here's, in essence, what we want to do, and here's what you can do now. And so used to be, we have a dream team of, at church that, kids, nursery, ushers, all that stuff. Well, that's what we call our, we call it the dream team, because we're our church. But I tell people, you can be involved now. Because you can't go to a physical location doesn't mean that you can't be the church, that you can't be the hands that feed Jesus. So from a membership standpoint, we share the vision. This is who we are. This is where we're going. And, we invite them to not only belong, but, hey, listen, share the feed, share the love, right? So that's kind of what we say is your number one, as a member of the church, your number one priority is sharing the love, share the feed, share the love. When you share the feed, share God's love. So that's the first class, and then we go through just the steps of the growth track, discovering their purpose. We do that digitally as well. They take an assessment for that, and then we have a culture. Step 3 is our culture, and then step 4, so we have various service digital platform, basically giving help and healing away to other people. You want to go further in anything else, Chris?
No. So I think that kind of handles it. I know it's cutting out a little bit too while you're talking here.
No.
So let's do this. If anyone has any questions, either about the Facebook ministry ads themselves, or kind of the process that they've been doing, or has any questions for Coach Aaron here, as he's been any of the things that he's talking about, whether it's the digital discipleship or kind of the funnel that takes people through next steps.
Pause or not? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Try turning off your video. That might help.
Someone's going down.
All right. So if you guys have any questions, either post them in the chat or just unmute yourself.
See if anybody has any questions.
For Aaron here.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man. All right. Let's see. Looking through the chat here to see. I don't think we have any questions so far. Robert, I just sent you a private message. David, I sent you a message. Okay. Well, listen, we can wrap up here if we don't have any more questions. Just want to make sure to get everything kind of rocking and rolling for you guys. I know, David, you got some ads rolling. Josh, you got ads rolling. Izelle, John, Brittany. Like if you guys have any questions at all, obviously feel free to reach out to us. Coach Aaron has been seeing some pretty phenomenal results, as you guys can see. And so really what we want to do is just be able to help you guys, support you guys, help you accelerate your results and get the most out of your prayer ads right now. So, man, let's do this. I'll pray, and if we don't have any more questions, then man, we'll all get on with our Wednesdays. So God, I thank you for every single person on here. I thank you for Aaron Butler. God, we thank you for Radius Church and everything that he's doing there. God, I thank you for the calling that's on his life. God, and the work that you're doing both in him and his church and in all of the people that are engaging with his church and that are a part of his church. God, I pray that you continue to use him, continue to use the ministry ads to bring people to Christ, God, and to continue to minister to people. and reach his city, the city of Stockton, with the gospel. God, I pray for every single person on here that you would help them to be able to reach their city, God, not just through social media and technology, but God, even through running into people at coffee shops and grocery stores and everywhere they go throughout the course of the day. God, I pray that you would bring people in to our world, God, that you would use us to introduce more people to your son. You'd use us to change the world and to change our cities, God. And I pray for every single person on here that you would give them, that everywhere the sole of their foot treads, they'd be on land that you've given them, God, that you would do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all that they can ask or imagine. We love you. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So David, Ashley, why don't you stay on here? You and I can chat. Man, everybody else, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for showing up. Aaron, thank you so much for sharing, bro. That was fire, man. Super pumped.
Absolutely, man.
So love it. Okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, bro?
Man, Aaron shares some awesome stuff, but I'm in I'm at the tire shop getting all my stuff worked on, and the connection was so bad, it's just going in and out. And at first I thought it was him, but I think I even you started. So
Okay.
I want to go back. Like you said, this is recorded?
Yeah. It's all posted to the YouTube channel.
Hey, David, I'm
Okay.
still on. Can you guys hear me?
Aaron?
I'm still on, bro.
Hey, Aaron.
I'm
Hey,
here.
I'm looking to connect with you, man. I've had such a crazy week, and but I'm definitely looking to connect with you just to hear everything you said and more.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had connection issues. I had to drive to our location because I forgot a camera part, so I had to go because we're recording today. So I had to I slammed, but I didn't make it. So in my car. So what's up, man?
No, well, me and Chris got an issue with my ad, man. My ad got disabled, not the church ad, but for my business. So we were just about to chat about that. But I just mentioned to him your name because from what I heard, it just sounded amazing and what God was doing through you. The message you just said, man. I'm definitely my life is so busy right now, and I wish I could spend more time connecting with people. But I have a church plant. Don't plan to start until I don't even have a date. But through this Corona, God kind of sparked, the ministry to take a step forward, and now I'm just trying to take it day by day without really having any plan except, thankfully, investing with Chris and hoping that I can reach my community through the prayer ads.
It's awesome, dude. Let me just encourage you, man, that what you have plus God is enough.
Oh, yeah.
What you have plus God is enough, so delays are not denials. And in the season where I think every pastor is overworked, you know what I'm saying? The grace of God will see you through. And I know you believe that. And yeah, I'll just, let me see if I can't text you. I'll text you my info. And then you can hit me up. You got it?
That's what I don't know if I was clear, man. I got a text, and my week has been so crazy.
Oh, okay.
But I promise you, man, I'm gonna respond. So I definitely love to have a offline chat, man.
Absolutely, bro.
Yes, sir.
You just let me know. Just send me a text and we'll try to make it happen, all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. All right. See you, Chris.
Aaron, thanks, bro.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you even had time to read the thing I text, but the point, they did not. So I started to do Facebook. I wanted to do Facebook ads with my purpose transformation business, which with the purpose, purpose transformation is life coaching, but I have the business strategist side of me. So I was looking to connect with entrepreneurs to help them jumpstart the business. In the ad, it doesn't mention anything about MLM. It just mentions, let me help you jumpstart your business and create streams of income. When they first flagged the account, I figured maybe I'm saying create streams of income too much, and because they said I violated the policy that had to do with MLM, get rich quick schemes. So well, let me change that lingo just to say business, because I modeled that ad after all of every ad that pop up on my Facebook page. I've screenshot it just to see if I ever want to kind of duplicate it or try to use it as a model. So I added my own lingo, but the ad is ads I've seen approved before. So my point is, at first, they claim I had too many violations. They said we're not gonna approve it, and I sent a message back like, man, I've been playing around, just dabbling with Facebook ads since 2015. I've never had an issue. Now that I've actually put hundreds of dollars in through my prayer request ads, I'm actually like realizing the power of Facebook, and I want to do it for my business. So I was like, in the last month, I've spent hundreds with you guys. I don't have any violations. And I just got a text back that what I sent you was like, thanks for reaching out. We've reactivated your advertising account. So now I guess I got to go in and just click activate. So as I was texting you, this is what I wanted to talk about, but apparently what was my fear of not being able to access my ads are now back. One thing I recently did, I didn't inactivate the per request ad, but I kind of took it from $30 a day back to down to $5 a day.
Okay.
And I only did that because me and the wife, we've been approved for a house, and the amount that we got approved for, it seems like most of the houses are averaging about 5,000 to 10,000, a little more than what we got approved for, but we got some cash in the bank. So I figured every dollar is gonna matter in the next month or two, as far as like, do we need to earn this money? I don't. This is my first experience paying the appraisal and everything, so I kind of just took my ads down. Well, not down, but I kind of put it to $5 a day, and then all this happened. But so if you were to go there, you will see that. But everything I had an issue with clean seems to be like, I don't know if you're looking at it or you plan to, but I do want.
I got it pulled up here. It won't let me look at the ad though. When I try to pull up the ad, it basically says says you might not have permission to change this ad. Try making a new one.
Well, it says if you have a campaign that currently stopped, the ads within the campaign can't be restarted until the campaign is active again. So turn your ads on. So one of the things I really want to do, I don't know if this matters, but I was watching a training, they were like, you need to really be using the business manager if you plan to start running a lot of ads. So I don't want the two. I want to separate the purpose transformation, like coaching future ads, in a whole nother, like I want to put that on the business manager. And hopefully if I ever have any issues again, it won't be connected. Like if one ad account is still it doesn't affect, hopefully it won't affect